Deed is finally done. Will Kenyans finally begin to enjoy cheap loans from the banks? President Uhuru Kenyatta has effected a momentous piece of legislation, one that is set to shake the banking industry in Kenya to its core. The president finally signing into law the Banking Amendment Bill 2015 to regulate commercial bank lending rates. Kenyans are celebrating. Commercial banks, not so much. We're covering this for you extensively. Our business team is helping us put this into perspective. Abi Agina is standing by with reactions from the Kenya Bankers Association and from Kenyans. We'll also seek to understand this new law better, and we'll bring in Kwame Owino, Chief Executive Officer of the Institute for Economic Affairs, Kenya. Will be joining us live from our city center studios. We'll also take it to where it all began 16 years ago, when the then GEM Member of Parliament, Joe Donde, drafted the initial bill back in the year 2000. KTN's senior anchor, Yvonne Okwara Matole, will be speaking to Donde. Good evening from the KTN News Center. I'm Ben Kitili. KTN Prime begins now. Tonight, bankers in the country are weighing their options after President Uhuru Kenyatta ignored their protest and signed into law the controversial interest rates bill. The law, which caps interest rates at no more than 4% above the Central Bank of Kenya's rates, is the culmination of efforts that go back nearly 20 years. The president said he was responding to what he called the insensitivity of the financial sector to the plight of Kenyans. Our business reporter, Abi Agina, is working on that story. We'll be bringing you this story for you a little later on. Let's now bring you those numbers, try to give you those numbers of what this means currently. This is some numbers that were released by the Central Bank of Kenya earlier this year in a bid to promote transparency in the pricing by commercial banks. These are numbers from the 6 top-tier banks that control almost 50% of the market. These are numbers for personal loans repayable between 1 to 5 years. These figures may vary because of the different charges like administration, processing, legal and other fees. Now, Cooperative Bank of Kenya, the rates as of those numbers by the CBK is 16.6%. That is the rate charged on loans by Cooperative Bank of Kenya. The cooperative will have to reduce those rates by close to 2 points to 14.5 because the CBK lending rate is 10.5%, and the maximum the banks can go is 4%. Equity Bank is the other one. 18.1% is the rate charged on loans. They'll have to go down close to 4 percentage points. Stanchart Bank charges 19.5% on their loans. 14.5, that is where they'll have to go close to 5 percentage points down. Kenya Commercial Bank, 19.5 as well. They'll have to go close to 5 percentage points down. Now, Barclays Bank and CBA, Commercial Bank of Africa, are the highest. They charge the highest rates among those 6 top-tier banks, 19.6% each. They'll have to go close to 5, more than 5 percentage points. Those are numbers from the Central Bank of Kenya, of course, from the 6 top-tier banks that control close to 50% of the market rates. These are for loans, personal loans that are repayable from between 1 to 5 years. Now, the battle to cap interest rates did not begin with the efforts of Kiambu Town MP Jude Njomo. It dates back to nearly 2 decades, but all previous efforts have yielded no fruit. KTN's Associate Editor Noah Otieno now traces that journey and the final breakthrough that could change Kenya's banking landscape.
The last half of the year 2000 would bring the name of Joe Donde to the international limelight. Many wondered how he could take on the financial might and economic importance of banks by challenging the free reign of banks when it came to charging interest on loans. Donde's bill wanted almost exactly what the Jude Njomo bill has achieved: a maximum of 4% interest on loans on top of the Treasury bill rate, and a cap on interest on deposit not lower than 4% of the 91-day Treasury bill. The Central Bank of Kenya Governor Mika Cheserem then, the Finance Minister Chris Okemo, and the then World Bank County Director Harold Workman were furious.
Took 15 million shillings each to make sure that this thing is not in the order paper. Why call a meeting here? What for? Waste of time. Well, I don't know. People can't go and take bribes, 15 million each. They are senior cabinet ministers, and they expect me to sit with them on a round table.
Lobbying began in earnest. Some MPs then, just as now, fought the bill in Parliament. A whirlwind of meetings followed. Accusations flew back and forth on who was or wasn't working in the interest of the ordinary Kenyans.
And yet these multinationals now, instead of having in mind the plight of a majority of the Kenyans, they focus their lobbying only at the top. They think they can have their way by canvassing the Vice President, the Minister of Finance, and the President.
We should say who gave the money for Honorable Kemal myself, which it was. In any case, can we say this? I think the most stupid habit Kenya now have is to make wide allegations of bribery. I expect leaders to be above that.
It was a meeting arranged by the Speaker. We were prepared to attend if we were coming to this with clean hands. But since people are coming with dirty hands, I don't think it will serve this country. These guys are selling the country to the banks.
But MPs passed the bill on 5th December 2000. President Daniel Moi would later assent to the bill to make it law. But the bankers saw a loophole and jumped into it to save their billions. In the bill that Moi signed into law, the commencement date was given as January 1st, 2001, while the bill itself was dated January 6th, 2001. The Court of Appeal ruled the law could not apply backwards and told the banks to ignore the Donde Act. The war was lost. But another game MP, Jakoyo Midiwo, would attempt to revive the fight in the year 2012, but the Treasury convinced MPs then that it would go against the concept of a free market and regional financial integration. Treasury indicated that the high interest rates could be addressed by a proposed law to overhaul governance at the Central Bank of Kenya. It never happened.
The solutions relies on the root cause of why interest rates are high, not second best solutions like controlling and all that.
Now 16 years ago, in December of the year 2000, it was billed as a 20 billion shilling war between the then game member of parliament, Joe Donde, and the Central Bank of Kenya, the commercial banks, and even the World Bank. Now, many people never expected President Uhuru Kenyatta to sign this bill into law. In fact, some people thought that the politics of controlling bank interest rates would outweigh the public interest. But now, by signing this bill, some believe that President Uhuru Kenyatta may just have locked down one of his biggest bargaining chips for his re-election next year in the general election. Now, KTN News,